A warm welcome to you all to the next session on electronic devices. We had completed with respect to BJTs in the previous class. Now today we'll be commencing with module 4, which speaks about field effect transistors, which is also in the short form referred as FETs. Now first and foremost, we have to understand the basic difference that exists between the BJTs and FETs. So once we are done with that, then we'll go for the construction of FETs, how it is basically constructed. What are the first, we'll look into the classifications, followed by we'll consider the first type of FETs, which is DFETs. We'll go with its construction, then the working details in today's session. Yeah. So first let me try to compare the BJTs and the FETs which you've already studied. So now, as you have already known, what does BJT is basically made up of? It is a 3-terminal device. So let me consider this to be as a BJT. Let me not represent the symbol. Instead, I'll put a box and then mention it as BJT. So how many terminals we have for a BJT? We have 3 terminals. What are the 3 terminals referred as? You know that it is the base, the collector and the emitter. Right? Similarly, when I consider FETs, even FETs are referred to be as a 3-terminal device. Now, what are the 3 different terminals that is referred are? One is the gate, which is similar to that of the base that we have in case of BJTs. Then we have what is called as drain, and the other referred as source. So these are the 3 terminals which is referred in case of FETs. That is the first basic difference between the BJTs and FETs. Yeah. Now the second difference that you have to know is, we clearly know that when I consider BJTs, what are the factors that I always refer to? It is all about the currents that I referred, right? If I consider IC, that is the output current was either expressed in terms of IB as beta into IB, or it was expressed in terms of alpha into IE. So all I try to control is the current, which is that I am trying to control, right? So this kind of device, whatever kinds of BJTs, these are called as the current controlled devices. Here the current is the one which plays the major role. So in order to clearly identify that, we know what are the 2 equations that we have. So these are the 2 equations which clearly indicates that this BJT is a current controlled device. When I consider FETs, that is not the case. Whatever the potential that I provide between the gate and the source terminal, which is referred as VGS, because the gate is at the higher potential compared to that of source. So let me represent the precedent as VGS. So this VGS is the one which will tend to control the current which is flowing in the device. Therefore, this kind of device, that is the FETs, is referred as voltage controlled device. See, these are the very basic and important differences that you need to be aware of, and which lays a foundation in order to understand what is BJT and what is an FET. Yeah. So that is a current control device is a BJT, whereas voltage control device is an FET. Now coming to the next point, whenever I consider BJTs, what does B here stands for? Bipolar, right? What does bipolar means? 2 polarities. What is the meaning of 2 polarities here? It is both the minority and the majority charge carriers will help in the current conduction. Yeah, that is why these devices are what? These are bipolar devices, wherein both holes and electrons comes into picture when I consider the current conduction. When I consider the FETs, that is not the case. So these are referred as unipolar devices. Now, what is the meaning of unipolar devices? Here, it is of single polarity. Charge carriers is the one which is responsible for the current conduction. So that means the one which is of majority carriers, either it is the holes which will be helping in the current conduction, or it will be the electrons. It is not both of them. So that is one of the major differences that you can find between the BJTs and the FETs. Now when I consider the size, these are small in size when compared to that of the BJTs. Done? Now what happens to the input impedance that you can see is the input impedance is more in case of FETs when compared to that of BJTs. And then the next comparison comes wherein the temperature variations that is seen, the stability that you can basically see in case of FETs with respect to temperature variations is more in case of FETs when compared to that of BJTs. So what you will write here, the size is small, the size is large when compared to that of FETs. Here the input impedance that you can see in the MOSFETs is greater when compared to that of BJTs, whereas the stability that you can see in the device because of the temperature variations is good in case of FETs when compared to that of BJTs. And the next difference that if I want to point out is whatever the variations that you can see at the input side, for that here BJTs, that sensitivity to respond is greater in case of BJTs when compared to that of FETs. I can say that this is highly sensitive to the variations which is seen in the input changes. So as soon as you see the changes in the input, that will be replicated in the performance of the device, and which the same can be absorbed at the output end as well. Whereas when I consider the FETs, that is not that much sensitive when compared to that of BJTs. Now where comes the applications of FETs is, even these can be used in order to perform amplification or the switching, just like the way we have considered in case of BJTs. And these are all the major differences that you can find out between the BJTs and the FETs. Yeah, I hope all of you are clear with this. Now let's try to move in and try to understand what are the different classification of FETs we have, and then what are the factors that we are covering up in this particular module. We will not be looking into the every detailed corner of FETs. Instead we will be focusing on certain factors or certain types of field effect transistors, and I'll be telling you which are all the topics that we'll be studying. Now, when I consider FETs, as I mentioned, these are field effect transistors, which is basically classified into JFETs and then MOSFETs. Now, what is the full form of JFET is junction field effect transistors, whereas MOSFET stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors. Let me repeat, metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Done? Now, when I consider the JFETs, the one type that we have is PN JFETs, whereas the other is referred as MESFETs. What are the two classifications that we have? One is PN JFET and other is referred as MESFETs. What does ME stands for here is, the ME stands for metal, S stands for semiconductor, and then what does FET stands for? Field effect transistors. Done? Now, this PN-JFET again is classified into two types. One is of N channel and the other is of P channel. Again, in the MESFETs we have classifications, but we will not be looking into the MESFETs in this particular module 4, that is FETs, because it is out of the scope of syllabus. Therefore, we will be discussing about PN-JFET, its construction and the working details for any one of them. For example, we will be considering for N channel, we will try to understand the constructional details and working principle, and try to decode how it is in case of P channel. Done? Now, when I consider the MOSFET, this MOSFET is basically classified into two types, which is referred as depletion type MOSFET, and the second is referred as enhancement type MOSFET. Again, the depletion and the enhancement type are classified into P and N channel. Again, this is also classified into P and N channel. So, this is all about the classification tree that you can find for FETs, under which we will be focusing on P and J FETs. We will be trying to understand in details of N channel, and then you will be able to decode what are the working principles P channel by yourself, and then we will be looking into the P channel and N channel, out of which we will be considering any one of the channel consideration, and we will try to understand how it basically works, and then we will try to decode the other type as well. So, this is the outline of this particular module, that is field effect transistors. Before going into the constructional details, even though the history is not there, it is very much needed for you to understand, right? So, the first persons who came into the explained about the working principle of FETs is Julius Edgar Lenin Field in year 1926, followed by Oscar Heal in 1934. They provided, or they tried to explain a working principle of what is called a FETs, but they didn't get into the working model as such, but they explained the working principle. For that concept, they got a patent, and that is what I am trying to mention here. Then after that, in 1947, William Shockley and his team tried to construct what is called as field effect transistors, but they failed to do so, and that is when they came across what is called as point contact transistors. And then once they tried to diagnose what was the reason behind the failure, that is where they came in existence of what is called as a point contact transistors. After that, after a decade, in 1959, D. Kang is the one who came into the or who brought in what is called as the MOSFETs. He was the first person to explain the working principle and to look into the MOSFET as a device as such. He is the first person to do so, and this is related to the history of field effect transistors. Now let's try to look into the constructional details and then the working principles of the first category in case of FETs, which is P and J FETs. So, if I consider a JFET, what is it made up of? How many junctions we have? 3 junctions, as I mentioned. What are the 3 different junctions that we have? One is called as gate, source and drain. Let me try to explain how it is basically constructed. Once we are done with it, then we will move to the working principle. So, you have a structure like this, done, out of which let me consider the type of P and J FET. Let it be an N channel P and J FET. That is the construction that we are considering as such. So, if in case it is an N channel P and J FET that I am considering, then the underlying semiconductor that I have to consider should be of N type material. Therefore, what is the underlying material that should be made up of? It should be of N type material. To this N type material, we have 2 regions of P plus, done. Now, at this end of the channel, we have what is called as a drain terminal, and then at this end of the channel, we have what is called as the source terminal. Remember the 3 terminals of the device which I tried to represent? One is called as a drain, the other is called a source, which is the other terminal that we have, it is the gate, right? So, where will I represent that? This is the gate terminal that I have, and here also is a gate terminal. So, instead of writing 2 terminals as of such, what they will try to do is, they usually try to short both of them and then represent it as a single gate terminal. Yeah, so these are the three different terminals that we can find in an n-channel PNJFET. Done. Now, as you can see, what is there? There is a P plus region here and an N region. Whenever we have two different regions of semiconductors, what does exist between them? Obviously, there has to be certain depletion region that you have to find, or a space charge region, and that is what I am trying to represent. Similarly, we have an N region and a P plus region here. Therefore, even there exists a depletion region, and let me try to represent that depletion region as well. Done. Therefore, tell me now how many depletion regions are there when I consider an N channel. There are basically two depletion regions that exist. Done. So, I hope all of you are clear with this. Whatever the regions that I will be connecting in order to make a gate terminal have to be at higher doping concentration. Therefore, I put up a plus sign at the top, whereas the one which is the underlying layer forms a channel should be of same material as that I mentioned in the name. If I say N channel, then the material should be of N type. If I say P channel, then what should be the underlying material? It has to be of P type material. Done. Now, if in case I want to represent the same type in case of the P channel, tell me what should be this material? It should be made up of P type, whereas what should be these two regions that I consider? They have to be made up of N plus regions, because these have to be heavily doped and those two are shorted together and connected to the gate terminal. Now, you need to understand how many biasings that you have to provide to a device and which is the current that is flowing in the device. Yeah. Now, we can provide as of two biasings, that is one is between the gate and the source, which is referred as VGS, and the other is between the drain and the source, which is referred as VDS. So, which are the two voltages that I am using in order to alter the behavior of the PNJFET? It is the VGS, which is between the gate and the source, and the other is VDS, which is between the drain and the source. Done? Now, these are the two voltages. Now, which is the current that is flowing in the device is referred as drain current. Now, how will I represent that drain current? Is ID. If in case I consider an N channel, then the drain current flows inwards, which is just like the way I am represented. So, like this I will be indicating, and this is how I will be representing ID. If in case I am considering a P channel, then the current of ID reverses. The polarities that have to follow for VGS and VDS also alters. So, first we shall look into the working principle of an N channel JFET, and then just by reversing the polarities of the supplies and the current will explain you the working principle of P channel JFETs. Done. Now, before going into that, let me try to explain what does source here mean, what does drain here mean, and what is the meaning of field effect transistors. Done. Now, first let me explain what is the meaning of field effect transistors. So, this indicates that it is a kind of transistor wherein you are trying to generate, or there is a certain electric field that is being generated within the channel region that tries to alter the behavior of the device. Hence, these kinds of devices wherein the electric field plays a vital role in deciding the working principle of a device, such kind of a transistor is referred as field effect transistor. And which field I am referring here? It is the electric field that is being generated within the device. I hope all of you are clear with the name of this particular transistor. Done. Now, what are the terminals that we have is, the source is the one which provides the charge carriers into the device by the external circuit. Therefore, it is referred as source. What is the meaning of source? The one which provides certain things, right? Here, what is it has to provide? It has to either provide holes or it has to provide electrons. Since we have an N-type channel, then I will be indicating the source is the one which is providing electrons to the device from the external circuitry. If in case I am considering a P type of channel, then source will provide what kind of charge carriers? It has to be the holes. All of you got this point? Yes? Now, when I consider the drain, what does drain do? Whatever the charge carriers that is being provided by the source, that have to be absorbed, right? And that is being done basically by what is called as a drain terminal. Done. And the gate is the one which is the control terminal that we have, which decides how much amount of current has to flow from source to drain. Clear till here? Yeah. So these are the three regions, or these are the three terminals that is being involved in case of any kinds of JFETs or FETs that you consider basically. So once you are understood with this construction, what does each of these mean, what is the purpose of them, and what is the meaning of field effect transistors, now it is time to understand the working principle of an N-channel JFET. So in order to understand that, we will be coming across different cases as such. It's a very simple concept. Let's try to decode it. Yeah, what I'll be trying to do here is, we know what are the two potentials that we have, VGS and VDS, right? Now what I'll be trying to do here is, first let me consider a case wherein I am trying to provide certain positive potential across the drain to source voltage, and let me try to alter the VGS. Say first I'll provide some 0 volts and then some negative voltage, and let me try to increase this negative voltage and see what is the behavior of the device for this particular condition. That is, by keeping VDS a positive voltage and varying VGS, how does my N-channel PN JFET perform? So that is the first case that we will be looking into. Once we are done with this, then what I will try to do is, I will try to keep my VGS at 0 potential, and let me try to vary my VDS. Let me try to provide different positive voltages. As I tend to increase the VDS value, what happens to the device operation is what we will be trying to understand, and that is case number 2. All of you got this point? Yeah. So let me consider this to be as case 1 and this to be as case 2, within which we have different sub cases as well. That is also we will be considering. So first we shall look into case number 1. What is case 1? In this case, what is VDS? It is a positive voltage. What is VGS? It's varying. Then I have just represented it to be as a varying quantity. Yeah. Now under case 1, let me consider a first scenario, that is scenario A, wherein I am providing VDS to be as a positive value and then VGS to be as 0 volts. So if I consider an N channel, what do we have? A P plus regions. To this we are providing what is called as gate to source voltage, and what is the gate to source voltage I have kept at 0 volts. That is what I am trying to represent. And then we have two terminals here. Please do represent the ohmic contacts without fail at all the 4 sides. Yeah. These are the ohmic contacts which I am trying to represent. And what is this? This is the source and this is the drain that we have. What kind of channel we have? It is an N-type channel. And how is the current flowing in case of N channel? It is flowing in the inverse direction. Done? Now what I will try to do is, I will try to ground the source terminal, and then let me try to provide some positive potential across the drain. Yeah. So instead of connecting a battery, see here, instead of connecting a battery like this and mentioning it as VDS, wherein the drain is compared higher potential compared to that of source, what I have done, in order to avoid writing the lengthy diagrams, I have just represented simply as plus VDS. And the same goes with the VGS as well when I consider, when I'm trying to provide certain potential. Done? Now, when the gate is at 0 potential and when I'm trying to provide certain amount of potential across the drain, see what will happen is, what is N channel made up of? Majority carriers are electrons, right? So, whatever the electrons that we have, these are the negative charge carriers, right? What is the kind of potential that I will be providing to the drain? It is the positive terminal. Only for this case, let me try to write it and explain. So, what is the drain terminal connected to? It is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. The kind of charge carriers that I have here is the electrons. Done? Now, what will happen when these electrons are connected to a positive terminal of the battery which is at the drain? These electrons tend to get drifted towards this positive terminal of the battery. They tend to attract towards the positive terminal of the battery. As a result, how is the electron getting drifted? In which direction? It is getting drifted towards the right direction, and that is what I am trying to represent. And don't forget to include the depletion regions that exist between the P plus and the N regions. Done? Therefore, as you can see, how is the electrons being moved from? It is moving from source to drain terminal, so which is the electron current. What about the conventional current? You know, it is just opposite to that of electron current, therefore it has to flow from drain to source. That is the reason why I have represented ID value to be towards the left hand side. Got the point? So, what is the basic principle here? When I try to, let me just write it here and explain if in case it is difficult to analyze. Now, see, even the gate to source potential, this is the gate terminal that I have. The gate to source, what is the value of the gate to source? It is 0 potential. So, what I will try to do is, I will try to connect the terminals, that is, I will make a connection here, just like this, which indicates that the gate terminals are at the same potential as that of the source. And how is the source connected to? It is grounded, which means that the gate, source, both of them at 0 potential. Done? Now, what is that we have? Some VDS is some positive potential, right? Therefore, the drain is always connected to the positive terminal of the battery and source is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, which indicates that I am trying to provide certain positive potential across the drain to source terminal. Now, what is the kind of channel that we have? It is an N-type channel. Now, when I say N-type, what is it made up of? Electrons, right? Now, the electrons here, this end is connected to what? Negative terminal of the battery. Both of them are negative. Will there be repulsion or attractive force that is seen? There will be a repulsion force, right? Whereas when I consider this particular terminal, it is positive terminal, whereas electrons are the negative charge carriers. As a result, what will happen? The electrons will tend to move in this direction and get attracted towards the positive terminal of the battery. Right? Therefore, I can say that the electrons which is present here is trying to get drifted towards the drain and get attracted towards the positive terminal of the battery. As a result, how can I show the direction of the electrons? It has to be in this direction. Now, since the electrons are moving from the source to drain in this particular case, how should be the conventional current direction? It has to be in the opposite direction. And that is what the ID value that I have considered, which should be in the downward direction. Whenever I consider a P plus N region, don't ever forget to represent the reverse bias junction or just simply the PN junction that exists between the two different kinds of semiconducting materials. Done? And this is the case for the first scenario, which is when the VDS is positive and VGS is 0 potential. I hope all of you got understood with the basic working principle of this. Done. Now when I try to represent this characteristics, and this is the diagram that I have tilted here and represented. That's it. So there is nothing to get worried about. So I'll just represent the depletion regions. After that, what is that? Getting drifted. The electrons are getting drifted in this direction, and that's what I'm trying to represent. Now once I'm done with the scenario 1, it is my duty to represent the characteristics as well. So if I want to plot the characteristics, it is always VDS versus ID that I'll be plotting for different values of VGS. Now how much is the VGS value that I am providing? It is of 0 volts. So when my VGS is 0, still there is a certain amount of current that is flowing between the source and the drain. Right. So whatever the N type of channel that we have, it is just like the one which has certain resistance. So this is the channel which has certain resistance within which, and therefore whatever the characteristics that exist between the VDS and ID will be of a linear kind, which behaves just like a resistor characteristics, and that is what I am trying to represent here. Done. And this is regarding the case when VGS is equal to 0. Now let me consider the next scenario wherein my VDS is still the same positive voltage that I am providing, but what happens to the VGS? I'll try to provide certain negative voltage and let that negative voltage be represented as minus V1. Now when I do that, let me try to represent the cross-sectional view of the MOSFETs. What do we have? We have ohmic contacts, and this forms the drain terminal, and this is how the current is flowing. And what is the potential that I am providing? Plus VDS. What happens to the source? It is grounded. Done. After that, we have a P plus region here and a P plus region here. There is an ohmic contact in, and then this is your VGS, which is how much? Minus V1. When I consider this scenario, when I am trying to increase the negative potential across the gate to source voltage, what will basically happen is, see, this P plus is connected to a negative potential. That means what happens to the depletion region that is being absorbed between this P plus and the N region? They tend to widen, right? Whatever the space charge region that exists between the P plus and the N, here the P plus and the N, what happens to them? They tend to expand, right? So, and that is what I'll be trying to represent. See here, whatever the depletion region that I've considered here, it has to be small in size when compared to that of this case. Because here I'm trying to provide certain negative potential, as a result, the depletion region tends to widen across both the sides. Done. Now, as I tend to increase this negative voltage, as I tend to provide certain negative voltage, as this depletion region tends to widen, what happens to the channel region that is available? It is getting reduced, right? Because of which what happens to the resistance value that is being seen, or the conductance that is being absorbed in the channel? The conductance that is being offered by the N channel, it tends to vary, right? And that is what we have to implicate in case of the characteristics. So if I want to indicate that change, then this is how it follows. So if this is for VGS is equal to 0, as the conductance is getting reduced, what happens to the characteristics? This is the characteristics that I'll be seeing for when my VGS value is a negative voltage. Got the point? Let me repeat again. As I am providing a negative voltage to the P plus region, the depletion region is getting widened. As they tend to widen, what happens to the N channel region that is available? They tend to get reduced, because of which what happens to the conductance? It gets varied, the resistance increases, because of which the whatever the slope that I can find, it tends to reduce. The resistance increases and the slope reduces, and that decrease is shown by this dotted lines for a negative potential that I am providing across the gate to source voltage. Yeah, and this is the case for VGS is equal to minus V1. Now let me consider the third scenario wherein I am trying to provide the same VDS value, but what happens to VGS is I am trying to increase the negative potential that I am providing across the gate terminal. So if I want to represent the diagram, it goes as follows. What am I providing at VGS? It is minus V2. Minus V2 is greater than that of minus V1. So VGS is equal to minus V2. So when I am providing more and more negative voltage across the gate terminal, obviously what will happen to the reverse bias junctions? Even they tend to extend, right? So there comes a point wherein this extension becomes such a way that both of these depletion regions completely occupies the channel that is being available. As a result, what is happening right now, they tend to isolate the source and the drain terminals, right? What happens to the VDS? It is the same, that is the positive VDS that I am providing. So as I tend to provide more amount of negative potential to the P plus regions, they become more reverse biased. More reverse bias means what happens to the space charge region or the depletion region that I can see? They tend to widen or they tend to expand. So as they tend to expand, there comes a point wherein both of these depletion regions meet up and they completely occupy the N channel that is being provided and which isolates the source and the drain terminals. And this particular scenario is being referred as pinch off region. What is this region referred as? A pinch off region. What is pinch? It is like this, right? These two depletion regions are getting pinched off, because of which it is isolating the source and the drain terminals, and this particular region or scenario is referred as pinch off region. Done. Now when this pinch off region occurs, what happens to the current that is flowing between the source and the drain terminals? Since they become isolated, what happens to the current? It becomes 0. And if I want to represent that in the same graph, then this is the case for VGS is equal to minus 2. Yeah, so these are the ideal cases that I am considering, but it will not be exactly equal to 0. That we will try to understand when we consider the case 2, wherein when I am trying to keep my VGS equal to 0 and VDS I am trying to give more and more amount of positive voltage. As of now, you remember under these three cases what is happening? When my VGS is equal to 0, there is certain amount of electrons which gets drifted from the source to drain. As a result, an ID current starts flowing in the device, and this is just like the channel is behaving just like a resistor. As a result, whatever the characteristics that I get is just like a resistive characteristics which is linear in nature, and that is what I plotted. Now, as I tend to provide negative potential across the gate terminal, what happens to P plus? It is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. As a result, the depletion region widens or the space charge region widens. So once this widens, what happens to the conductivity of the channel? It tends to vary, it tends to reduce, which means that conductivity is inversely proportional to resistivity, which means that what happens to the resistance of the device? It tends to increase, which is indicated by the decrease in the slope. Therefore, these dotted lines are represented for VGS is equal to minus V1. After that, we have considered a case wherein I am providing more amount of negative voltage across the gate terminal. So as I tend to provide, there occurs a scenario which is called as pinch off, wherein both the depletion regions merges. As a result, it tends to isolate the source and the drain, and no amount of current flows across the device, and that is what I am trying to represent in the yellow dashed lines for VGS is equal to minus V2. And this is for the scenario 1 when I am keeping my VDS to be some positive voltage and when I am changing my VGS. Now in the next session, what we will try to do is, we will try to keep VGS at 0 potential and try to vary VDS. We will try to give more and more amount of positive voltage across VDS and try to see how the characteristics vary in that particular scenario. Done. And this is all about the basic P and JFET operation. Thank you one and all. Have a good day.